Now I need to set the game over state. How can I lose the game? Well, I'm gonna lose if my ball falls beyond the paddle, right? Where can I check that? In our update function, when I'm checking the movement. So here in this function is where I can know what is the position of my ball. So if I go to the last of the code, I can add here for the bricks. Yeah, here's a good place. So if my ball, that position dot y, it's less than our paddle position dot y in the same in the same axis, -1, I know that the ball fall off the paddle. So if that happens at a certain point in the game, I can change the state of the game from playing to game over. Game state will be state game over. And if it's a game over, I cannot change anything, or the update won't be executed anymore because I lose, right? What can I do is to start the game again. If I am in a game over, I can start the game again. So how can I start the game again? Well, I'm gonna go to the our code that we have here. In the case we are starting and I release the space button, I'm gonna start the game from the starting to playing. But if I am in game over state and I release the space button, I'm gonna change the state from game over to starting again, right? But we have an issue here. So at this point, when I am a game over and I want to restart the game without restarting the browser, I need to reset or re-init again the game. So here I have to do something like game init function, right? But I don't have that function yet, so we need to add it. So at this point, I had to create a function game init. And how can I init the game? Well, I need to create the breaks again. I need to set the ball at the position of the beginning, also the paddle at the beginning. I need to do all of that stuff. So I'm gonna try to look for all pieces of code where I'm just handling that. So when I create the bricks, this for instance, this works. Here I'm creating the bricks. The bricks creation, that will work. I'm going to change that piece of code, this function, to restart again all the bricks. Here, but before that, I'm going to restart the brick array. Bricks array equals empty, right? If not, it will be adding more and more and more and more every time we need the game. So this, if we need the game, I'm gonna clean the array, but I need to set the position again of the ball and the paddle. It will set the position of the bricks over and over again when we call this function. So I need to set the ball position. I think it's this. I'm just gonna cut this piece of code here this will set ball position, and I need the paddle. Okay, so the paddle position, I'm going to change this. So when we create the paddle, it will be at the origin, right? We are just putting it below with the -3 on the Y property. But in this case, if we have a game over and we move the paddle or just in a different position than the initial one, I need to set that again to that position. In that case, I'm going to change this a little bit, and I'm going to set the position with the vector 3. It will be 0, -3, and 0. Right, that should work. Yep, it was complaining about that. And set paddle position, right? If we call that function when we init the game, now that can be, let me check if that can work better here in the game starting. So if I save that and I check here, interesting. So when I release the space key, then it inits the game, right? But that's not what we want. We want to show everything like at the beginning. So just need to change the location of that. This is not here. I think if we just call this here, so the game init here, that will work. And we can also let me set that here to see what happens. So cool, we have again our initial state of the game. Let me start that. What happens if I lose? Nothing. Yeah, that doesn't work like that. It's here. So now I'm going to put a console log. Game over. Let me go to the code again. If I start the game and if I lose, I cannot move my paddle anymore. And if I go here, I have a game over. Right? That's what we want. But if we have a game over, in the starting, when I release that, okay, when we start again, we have all our objects already in place. So that's what you want, right? But it's not it's kind of difficult to understand when we lose or what's happening because we don't have any information on the screen for that. In order to know what's happening when the game state changes, we need to add some text.